Hey guys, Mac here, and we are going to work on solving quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, and again, all these can be found at maxtutorials.com. Like, subscribe, comment, ask questions. Love to interact with you guys. All right, now what we learned before is that we know what to do if everything equals 0. So whenever you have a quadratic equation, which means you have a squared. So whenever you have a squared, the first thing you want to do is say, hey, let's make this equal to 0, and then I know what to do. So my first step for this equation actually is to add 8 to both sides. And I'm going to get this, x squared. I can't combine these. One's an x and one's a number. Plus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Now, do you remember what we did with this on the version A? We set it all equal to 0 and we solve. Okay, what multiplies in the 8 and adds to 6? That's going to be a 4 and a 2. And my answers are whatever I put in for x that will make each parenthesis equal to 0. To make the first parenthesis equal to 0, I need a negative 4. To make the second parenthesis equal to 0, I need a negative 2, and that's my answer. So the big change on this is the first thing you do when you see that x squared, make the equation equal to 0. This one, I'm going to do it by adding 6 to both. So I'm going to get x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Now I'm going to do my two parentheses, and I'm going to get x, third term positive, signs are the same, take the sign in the middle, 3 and 2, multiply to 6 and add the 5. My answers are 3 and 2. Okay, let's go on to number 3. I want to make it equal to 0, so I'm going to add 8. Because when I take negative 8 plus 8, that's going to become my 0, right? But now watch this one. This one's a little different because I have a constant. I have a number there. But now I add 2. I'm going to combine it with the number, and I'm going to get a plus 10. Okay, and that now equals 0, so now I can solve. I'm going to have two parentheses. Third term is positive, signs are the same. Take the sign of the middle, factors of the third, add to the middle, which is 5 and 2. What makes these 0? A negative 5 would make the first parenthesis 0, and a negative 2 would make the second parenthesis 0. Let's go on to number 4. I'm going to start number 4 by adding. I keep hitting buttons on my pen. Adding 8 to both sides. Okay, and by doing that, I'm going to get x squared minus 8x plus 12 equals 0. Now I'm going to see if I can factor that. Okay, so I'm going to get x and x. I'm getting all these third term positives. I'm sorry there aren't more third term negatives. Maybe we'll get one at some point. I don't see any. And we'll see what happens. Here we go. So signs are the same. Keep the sign in the middle. And I'm going to get myself a... Boy, what works there? What am I not seeing? Oh, 6 and 2. Hello. And I'm going to get a 6 as an answer. And I'm going to get a positive 2. Because that's what I can plug into x in order to make these 0. Okay? Let's keep it all going. Number 5... oh, that's weird. I feel like maybe a mistake happened there, but maybe not. Okay, well, 2 minus 16, add a line, change the sign, is x squared plus 9x equals negative 14. So obviously I'm going to add 14 to both sides. And I'm going to get x squared. I'm going to run out of room on this one. I better really zoom up. Plus 9x plus 14 equals 0. When I do my parentheses, I'm going to get my x's here. That's going to factor to a plus 7 and a plus 2. I'm now going to act as if that's easy for you now, okay? If it's not, that's okay. But I have a whole section on factoring at Max Tutorials. Go back there so that this can become easy to you. How do I make that 0? It's a negative 7. How do I make this 0? It's a negative 2. Okay, let's go over to number 6. Okay, my first step is going to be to add 9 to both sides. Why? Because I want my right to be 0. And I'm going to get x squared minus 9x plus 14 equals 0. Now I know what to do with this. I didn't know what to do until now. Now I know it's 0 because I want to get factors equal to 0. That's going to become a negative 7 and a negative 2 when I do my factoring. And what pairs up with this to make it 0? A positive 7. What pairs up with that? A positive 2. Okay? What if it doesn't factor? Then what do you do? Well, then you watch my next videos, okay? Because then we have other ways. One is called completing the square, and one is called quadratic equation. Okay, let's look at this one. We're going to add 4 to both sides, okay? Once I do that, I'm going to get my 0 there now. X squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Now I'm going to do my 2 parentheses, x and x, and I'm going to get a plus 3 and a plus 1. So my answers are going to be -3 and -1. See how that worked? Let's go ahead and do number 8 now. So here I'm going to add 2 to both sides because I'm trying to make them equal to 0. X squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Parentheses. Now we factor. Don't factor until it equals to 0. Okay, that's the big thing that I want you to get out of this. I'm going to have x's here. Now, what multiplies to 8 and adds to 6? That would be a 4 and a 2. And remember all the rules we had. Third term positive, signs are the same. Take the sign in the middle. And that's going to be my answer. And so I'm going to pair a 4 up with that one and a 2 with that one. And now I have parentheses that say 0. All right, just a couple more here. All right, number 9. Oh, okay, this one's, well, no, this one's fine. We can do it this way. Sorry, my brain went straight to a different method, which I don't know why it did. So let's just add 35 to both sides. Okay, and once I do that, I'm going to get an x squared plus 12x plus 35 equals 0. Now that it says 0, I can do my factoring. Don't factor unless it says 0. Because I don't really care what parenthesis if it says, you know, a different number. I want it to say 0. Because I can't do that cool trick that I'm doing where I go, hey, let's make the parentheses say 0 with a -7. I can't do that unless it says equals 0. So that's my first step, is make it all equal to 0. Number 10, to make this equal to 0, I need to add 9 to both sides. Boom, die. And I'll get myself x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Okay, now I can do my little trick. X and x, what multiplies to 12 and adds to 7? 5 and 2, and then both of these will be negative, okay? And that will give me a positive 5, and it'll give me a positive 2 for my answers. All right, let's go on here to number 11. I'm going to add 40 to both sides. So I'm going to get x squared plus 13x plus 40 equals 0. Now that it's equal to 0, I can play this game. Third term positive, signs are the same. Take the sign in the middle. What multiplies to 40 and adds to 13? That would be an 8 and a 5. What matches up to each of these to make them say 0? And that, my friends, would be the answer. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to number 12. Add 17, add 17. Boom, die. X squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. Now I have my parentheses. Boom and boom. All right. Third term is positive. Signs are the same. Take the sign in the middle. So it's minus minus. What multiplies to 21 and adds to 10? 7 and 3. What matches with these to make them say 0? 7 will make that one say 0, and 3 will make that one say 0. All right, 2 more. Way to hang in there, guys. On this one right here, I am going to add, there we go. Add 4, add 4. Now, don't add that 4 to the 5. Don't be silly and do something like that, because one's a letter and one's a number. They don't mix. They don't match. They're not friends. Don't do it. Okay, so here we go. Boom, 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 equals 0. X and x, third term positive, signs are the same, take the sign of the middle. What multiplies to 4 and adds to 5? 4 and 1. What matches with each parenthesis to make them say 0? A -4 and a -1. And lastly, number 14, I'm I'm going to start by adding 21. Do I have a number on this one? I do. It's right there. Look, that's also number 21. Boom. Die. X squared minus 11x plus 28 equals 0. Parentheses equals 0. All right, so what multiplies to 28 and adds to 11? 7 and 4, and these are both going to be negative. What pairs up with this? A 7. What pairs up with that? A 4. And my friends, we just finished version B. This one is a little trickier than A, okay? And I've got a C coming up. And I think it would be really good if you did that, just so you guys have a really firm foundation of how this works, because you're going to be doing this a lot. All right, good job, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.